Plastic bags don't go in the recycling. It's Recycle Right, the game where we find out what's recyclable and what's garbage. Ready to play? Go. So many items we toss daily like cardboard, cans, cartons, glass, and plastic bottles can actually be recycled in our curbside collection program for a cleaner community. The rest is garbage, like your uncle's aim. When you recycle right, we all win. Take your victory lap. Plastic bags don't go in the recycling. It's Recycle Right, the game where we find out what's recyclable and what's garbage. Ready to play? Go. So many items we toss daily like cardboard, cans, cartons, glass, and plastic bottles can actually be recycled in our curbside collection program for a cleaner community. The rest is garbage, like your uncle's aim. When you recycle right, we all win. Take your victory lap.
Every drop has a purpose. It nurtures more than just our gardens. Protect what connects us. Conserve what sustains us. Because water is life.
Hi, I'm Katrina Wilson, and I am running for school board member, District 1. I've been a lifelong educator for more than 30 years, and I have served in Miami-Dade County Public Schools for almost 40 years. I think that I have a depth of knowledge about education and an experience. Education is the gateway to the future. I think it allows you to dream.
I am running for the seat because I want Miami Gardens to continue to be a place where families can build a life, where our youth see opportunity for themselves, and where our senior citizens feel valued. You know, I truly believe that if we focus on the quality of life today, that we can build a much stronger city for the next generation that chooses to call Miami Gardens home. I'm running to protect residents. I'm running to protect services. I'm running to protect the quality of life of Miami Gardens.
Hello, everybody. I'm endorsing Oliver Gilbert because he has always delivered for us, raising wages, delivering paid sick leave, and passing a law to lower water rates.
I'm Oliver Gilbert, and I approve this message because from supporting the 5,000 Role Models program to standing up to Trump, I'm ready to carry on the legacy of Congresswoman Wilson.
Trust me, we need Oliver Gilbert in Congress.
Hello, everybody. I'm gonna always say that because this is just, I just love it, right? Let me see who's in the chat. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Welcome to High-Low News Live. What's up, y'all? What's up? What's up? This is our new take on local news, right? So it's a little bit different from the podcast. You know, the podcast, I'm going to still dip and do it. I'm going to still do the most, but now we're going to have hot topics. We're going to have correspondence, live panel discussions, and all the things going on. So thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Share. Okay. This is supposed to be something y'all listen to during y'all lunch hour, you know, where you when you're you know at the job or something, or as you kicking off your Friday, you driving out of town. Come listen to Hello News's Friday show. Also, too, we may play around with the time and the date just to see what is the right mix for the show, but I feel like we needed this format, and I've been wanting to do this. This is like a Don Lemon, Roland Martin style show, and so we are going to be, testing this out, giving the community more content, more information. It's all about serving you guys. So thank y'all for tuning in, and make sure, like I said, hit that like button, hit that share button, tell people all about it. This new show is like definitely something that I've been wanting to do. And so what I want to do as well is people in the studio need to mute their phone. I don't know if y'all heard that. Look, I'm just we still gonna be we still gonna have it going on. But what I would like to do too, a cool addition, and the thing that I really like about this format that we're gonna be doing for the High Low News Live, as y'all saw with my graphics, is we have a correspondent, and so I want to introduce him to the audience before we get into our first segment, which will be a really dope interview with a candidate. Also, too, this is also a part of our expansion for political coverage as well. So more opportunities for us. No more opportunities for us to interview all the candidates that are running, because everybody and their mama running. So now I had to add another day to come on here to talk to y'all. So without further ado, I would love to welcome to the show Hello News' correspondent. You guys have seen him out there. If y'all follow us on social media, you have definitely seen him giving us amazing content. Welcome to the show, Justin B. Smith. Hey, Justin.
Hey, what's up, Janae? Hey, everybody. How y'all do? First of all, y'all, I'm so excited, as you can see. And Janae, thank you for even considering me and allowing me to take up space, just as a reporter, for High Low, but also just as someone who is a part of Gen Z and care about the politics and care about our community, because we need representation.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And you know what? Like when we have our conversations offline, and one of these days we got to get Dericka in here with us.
And
And
dude,
so I just want, you had so many great hot takes or whatever, and something to a part of it is like me being able to get people from hometown, uh, from South Florida opportunities as well. Let's let them know, like, you have your things. You went to Howard, you do marketing, you worked for other media companies. So don't let the young baby face fool y'all. My friend has his receipts, he has his credentials, he has his things, right? And so
mhm.
I always love your hot takes behind the scenes. So I thought this would be a really cool way for us to have these conversations that's happening in South Florida. We may even have some hot topics beyond as well. So
Right.
Justin, what are you looking forward to for the show and just being a part of this?
I think what I'm looking forward to the most with this show is just being able to constantly shed a positive light on just not only politicians, but also young entrepreneurs, individuals who
Mhm.
are actually being the change makers, but also being able to highlight important things that are impacting our communities. I just think right now we're in this space in age of conservatism. And for me, like, I'm the opposite of that, right? And something I've been noticing a lot and lately is that honing in on the power of community. So
Mhm.
basically, I want all things community. I want all things togetherness. And yeah, like, those are some that's how I'm feeling right now, Janae.
I love it. And you know what? Everything that you're saying, I totally agree with. And I'm really looking forward to discussions. Look, and Justin has his own mind as well. I don't want y'all to think, and I don't even work with people who is an amen corner. Everybody who works with me will read me. Okay. Tell me when I'm wrong. Tell me when I'm right. We lift each other up. So we're gonna have some
Hmm.
interesting conversations. I'm really looking forward to what we're talking about today. Like I said, we have Dinah Escarment. She's running for State Representative 108. We're going to have a really dope candidate interview with her. Then me and you're going to rap about it and get your views. Then we're also going to be talking about the Miami Herald endorsements, y'all. They are
Hmm.
rolling in, rolling in, rolling in. So we want to talk about what that means for this political climate. And we also go get into a little bit of the mess. Y'all know I would. That's what we do now, and y'all love it. Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick and Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz have a little feud going on, have a little battle going on. And Sheila Cherfilus McCormick actually hinted at it on our interview on That Part podcast earlier this week. So I wanted to dig into that a little bit more. And then also too, Justin, tell them what because we give people their things and their platform. What are you going to be talking about today?
So to me, I'm going to be talking about how Gen Z sleep on the power that we have, especially when it comes to voting.
Mm,
And I'm coming with receipts, y'all. I'm coming with facts, and I'm coming with sources, because I think as any credible speaker, reporter, or professional, you got to come with the actual facts. You can't come with these alternative opinions. So I'm ready to give the girls, education. I'm looking to give people the actual tools, for us to make our society much more functional, and just prioritizing young minds and letting them know that, hey, we have power here too.
Yes, yes, we do. And I'm so excited about this conversation. And we also going to give like a little clip from the culture report. Our managing editor, Dericka Jaye, has some really dope content that she's doing over there. So we want to also to talk about that. And we're going to be talking about events coming up this weekend as well. So I'm just really excited about the show. This is a pilot episode. Y'all bear with us too as we work through some of the kinks and different things in the flow, but y'all gonna feel us all the same. It's that same hollow news energy that we do with everything. So I love y'all for real for rocking with us. Like I said, get those likes up. We want to get a goal of 30 people in here today. I think that's a good attainable goal. I'm starting to see Dinah's people popping in. So when she gives me the go ahead, we were going to like bring her on the screen. Dinah, when you cut your camera on, let me know. And we'll get it rolling. And Justin, just hang tight backstage and you'll be coming right back on the show. Don't go nowhere, y'all. Justin coming back, y'all.
I won't be going nowhere. I'll be sitting pretty backstage waiting, okay?
Very heavy on the pretty, very heavy on the handsome. Thank you, Justin. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get into our our candidate interview. I actually met her a couple of months ago and she was so cool. And I love the fact that she, valued the platform of High Low News. So it's really, really my pleasure to bring her onto the show. So if you're ready to go home, girl, you got give me a thumbs up backstage. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Welcome to the show, Dinah Escarment. She's running for state representative, District 108. Hey, girlfriend.
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm so excited to be with all this nice melanin energy this afternoon.
We are happy to have you. Thank you so much. And just a little bit behind the scenes, we had some tech issues, but I was like, look, I am not going to not give you your things, right? We're not going to not give you the platform, promote you and all the things and make sure it's right. So I'm so grateful that you took time out of your very busy schedule to come back and re-record with us and actually do it live. I wanted the people to see and feel you. I think it's something different when you get to do that.
I agree, and I appreciate that, sis.
No, of course, of course. Look, me and you have been talking offline, but let's get into it. For people who are just getting to know you, tell them who you are and why you're running for office.
So my name is Dinah Escarment. I am like a daughter of the community. I'm very active in the community. But before running for office, I can say that I have already been doing the work for several years. So when the community asks you to run, eventually, you got to take that call. So it's been a few years. It's been over 5 years. And I finally said, you know what? They're like, we need someone like you in office. Just like everyone else, I am tired of the political corruption. I'm tired of the establishment. I'm tired of the machine. I'm tired of everything that is wrong with politics today. That's why I'm always outspoken and calling people out and calling things out, because if we want change, we have to vote change and we have to be part of that change. So I believe that government should work for every single person, regardless of their color, regardless of their economic situation, where they come from. It shouldn't just work for Trump and his wealthy billionaire friends. So if we need someone who's a voice, who's a fighter. And just like my sis Angie Nixon, I'm ready to, get them cuffs put on just to be able to fight for my people. So that's what I'm about. I'm part of a new generation of leadership that is needed right now in politics, who are actually going to work for the people and not for their donors. A lot of people take all this corrupt money, then they get into office and they can't really serve us. So that's where I come in. And I'm trying to change things around and continue the trend of these new generation leaders who are getting elected and actually able to serve and keep their promises.
Come on now. And you know what? I was going to get into it, just a sidebar, because you got a baby face. So are you Gen Z or millennial or Gen Alpha? I don't know. Black don't crack. You could be 15
Black
years
don't
old.
crack.
I don't know.
Man, that is every time I go to someone's door since I've been running, they're like, are you old enough to run for office? They don't even let me finish like my spiel about why they should vote for me. They're like, wait, how old are you? So I'm a 90s baby, but I am a millennial. I'm a millennial 90s baby, not a Gen Z. No.
Gotcha. Look, you can't tell nowadays. I don't even ask Black people their age, because you could be 18 or 80. It's somewhere in between. The something with this skin just keep us looking young. So I had to ask you that. Thank
No
you
problem.
for answering. Look, we're gonna switch gears a little bit before we get into the issues. I want to know. We want to know, just for civic education, what is the role of a state representative? What is it that you guys actually do? What is the job?
So a state representative, a lot of people get it confused with like the federal level, then they get it confused with the local level. So it's very important to educate people of the role of a state representative and what they actually do and represent in Tallahassee. So they're basically a voice in Tallahassee where we come up with legislation to pass bills on the state level. We're an advocate for different things in regards to like state level things like the light bill, FPL, different zoning things, preemptions that they're doing right now. We're basically a voice in Tallahassee. We get funding. We try to get appropriation funding allocated to our communities within our district. So a state representative is basically on the state level up in Tallahassee, working with the other legislators to present bills, get bills passed, and get funding to the local community. So that's basically what a state representative does up there in Tallahassee. We're your voice on the state level.
Thank you. Thank you for breaking that down. And so let's get into, some of the things that, you know, Florida is a super Republican uh state. Just, we could talk about that all day, but you're running as a Democrat, correct?
I am, yes.
Yes. So I would like to know, what is one thing your party gets wrong on an issue that you care about, that you feel like should be highlighted and amplified?
Um, a lot of people, I'm not gonna lie to you, a lot of people have been saying that, for the past few years, ever since the Republicans came into power 2 years ago, they're saying that they feel like the Democratic Party has failed us. And I'm not gonna say a specific issue, but I think that the Democratic Party was just not doing enough. And I agreed with that in that sense. The Democratic Party wasn't coming together as they should in unity, and that allowed us to be, taken over just like that in a full sweep. We don't have a plan of action in advance. Like, I think the Republican Party, I'll give them that credit. They start from like, this takeover didn't happen overnight. Like when Trump won in office, they've been planning this as soon as he lost the last election. So they do stand together, and they're quick to stand up for their own. Like, even if their own is wrong, like even with, let's say, with the current state rep District 106 Basab, they'll stand behind their own, like, for till the end. They'll take up for their own. They're not quick to dismiss them and ask them to step down. They're gonna fight for their own, and that holds their party together. So I think the Democratic Party, not a specific issue, I would say, but I think just being bold about things, just being outspoken, just being able to have a plan of action way in advance so that we can, be able to execute something that no one can divide and tear apart. So that's the only issue that I had with the Democratic Party.
Mm. Thank you for sharing that and breaking that down. My next question is about housing affordability. It is a top concern in the district. Name one specific bill or mechanism you push, and how would that get paid for?
So my thing with housing, knocking on the doors, being someone within the district, born and raised in the district, right there on 63rd and the duplexes over and in between Liberty City and Little Haiti, and raised in North Miami. Yes, ma'am. Mom graduated from Edison. so
Okay.
so I've been in this district my whole entire life. I'm a Miami native, right? So it's just progressively getting worse. So when I look at the housing issues, of affordability issues, the economic crisis that we're going through, I know that something has to be done on the state level in Florida for that. So one of the policies that I would support is the Florida Workforce Housing and Home Ownership Act. Within that act, it targets different levels of affordable housing issues that we can advocate for and bring to the table. So for example, one of the things, it stops a lot of those big corporations from buying so many properties in one fell swoop, limiting the supply of homes on the market. So when you have a limited, everyone knows, we all went to school, we know the law of supply and demand. So when these investors come and they just take and purchase these large amount of properties, now with the limited amount of properties, they put them so high up. That's how the price goes up, and no one can afford to live here in the state of Florida. So it would limit that act would limit the amount of properties that these investors and developers and these out-of-state corporations can come in and buy in Miami, Florida. Also, within this act, it also targets senior citizens to make sure that our senior citizens are not priced out of their homes, and they have targeted property tax relief, additional property tax relief, and additional exemptions under the Homestead Act. So just making sure that our seniors are able to, retire in their home and don't face foreclosure. So that's one of the very important things for me. Another thing as well is, because if you don't know, the average age within the state of Florida, US, is for someone to purchase their first home is 42 years old. And I think that's way too close to 50 years old. So
Yes.
that yeah. So I mean, it's very sad, but it's a reality. A lot of young people you have no choice but to live with your parents if you want to live in Miami. You cannot purchase another property. Let's say you graduate between the ages of 23 to 25 from college, right? Now you want to start your family by 30, 35. You're still not in your first home. By 40, the average person is still not in their first home. And I think that's a crisis. So these things target young people, middle class people, and senior citizens. So it's a comprehensive act that targets affordable housing. And it also talks about insurance, making sure we have oversight, transparency, and accountability within the insurance market, because insurance is very high. So I don't care where you live within District 108. For Miami Shores area, they're not so concerned about affordability with purchasing the home. They're so concerned about the homes that they have. They're talking about property insurance when I go knock on their doors. It's making their mortgage crazy, So imagine the senior citizens, the underserved minority population, you finish purchasing your home, is paid off, and you still can't afford to live in that house. The property insurance is crazy. The taxes are crazy. So you can't even live in Miami with a house paid off nowadays if you're a senior citizen. So though that policy would attack all those things, a comprehensive list of affordable housing initiatives that will help people to be able to retain a home and live in the district where they grew up and they love.
Thank you. If elected, what are 3 things you would like to focus on and accomplish in your first term?
In my first term, like I said, housing is the number one thing, just housing, that aspect. And I've been already working on housing. So within my organization, I'm the chairwoman of the largest political organization within the state of Florida. And through that organization, I've been able to advocate on behalf of housing for renters through the landlord campaign registry that we had, where we, in Florida, it's not just about purchasing a home. The rent is crazy too when you're renting. So a lot of people, when their lease is up, it goes up to $1,000. So I want to make sure that there's some type of legislation that will cap how high a landlord can raise and increase your rent in Miami, Florida, within District 108 and throughout the state of Florida, because it's crazy. I'm in District 108, but honestly, I advocate. I'm in North Miami Beach. I'm out my district trying to make sure that everyone is, taken care of. So housing is number one. Another one too, as a small business owner, like everything on my platform, I've lived it, I experienced it. So I'm a small business owner as well. I've been a small business owner since I graduated from college, prior to graduating from college. So I know how important it is for a small business owner to want to get by. It's not like you're not seeing a steady paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. You have to actually go hard. And a lot of businesses within the last year, due to the economic crisis, have been closing down. So I want to make sure that we get funding allocated towards small business owners. My plan in my first 2 years in office, within the first year, honestly, that first year I'm there, I need to have a hub within District 108 where people can navigate the business process, with whether they want to start their own business, whether they want to streamline the permit processing, because that's really bad. It's so hard to get a permit to start operating your business within the state of Florida. Just getting education on starting an LLC or what type of S corp, what type of structure that you need for your business, and make sure that they have grants allocated towards those businesses so that they're able to sustain themselves. It's not fair for someone to have a business open for 6 months. You're paying the rent on it, but you're not getting any income because you still can't get your paperwork in order. So things like that need to be streamlined, so having a hub where people can go and get that assistance is very important to me. And that's one of the 2 things I'm going to advocate for when in office. The third thing is Medicare. I've seen so many people, like I have a friend right now over in the Little Haiti area, like just getting access to healthcare. As I'm knocking on doors, sitting with families. I was in Liberty City the other day, and the mom was telling me her daughter just got dropped off from her insurance. She attends college at FIU. And because of the income, the daughter had to get dropped off the mom's Obamacare insurance. So she's currently without insurance. She's anemic. She has issues, and she doesn't have any coverage right now. So I think that affects everybody across different age groups. And I want to make sure that we get expanded healthcare coverage, affordable healthcare coverage for everybody within the district, because we know how important it is to be able to go to your doctor and be seen. It's already a lot of discrimination with people of our color and underclass minorities. So we want to make sure that everyone gets that healthcare coverage, regardless of whether you're working or not. Everyone should have access to healthcare in America. Other countries have this universal healthcare program. We're the greatest, largest country. Like, I don't understand, how is that not something that is implemented already within the United States of America? So just advocating on that is important to me.
Thank
Those are
you.
my top three.
Public education continues to be one of Florida's most debated issues. What are your views on public school funding, charter schools, school choice, private school vouchers, teacher shortages, and student achievement? Where do you believe legislators should focus its efforts?
As a former public school teacher, I could tell you, I could not, it was hard for me to make ends meet on a teacher's salary. I think the state of Florida, the legislators, they don't value teachers enough. That's why there's a teacher shortage, and they're not able to retain teachers like they should. I mean, invest in your teachers. Like, teachers actually spend more time with the students than the parents do, because when you get out, you spend that whole day with the students, you're teaching them, you're getting different personalities, different attitudes, and you're helping them to get to the next level. The parents get home in the evening and they could have the students for like another 4 hours, then it's bedtime, then back to school again. So it shows that teachers are very instrumental in a child's upbringing and rearing, right? So I think that they should make sure that teachers are paid a livable salary, so that they're not, every teacher has to have a second job. I'm telling you this right now. A lot of teachers, even whether you're married or single, there's a lot of single mothers, they have to have a second source of income in order to be a teacher. And that's not fair. Like, the service workers should not have to have a second job, because it's already draining throughout the day to be a teacher. So now when you get home, you have to go to a second job to make up for the income that they don't pay you. So with the whole school thing, that's an initiative that I took up to save North Miami Senior High School, which is one of the schools within my district that are on the co-location list for next year, 2027. So I do believe that parents should be able to put their children wherever they want. Everyone should have the choice to put your student. If you want to put your child in private school, then go ahead. You want to put your child in charter school, go ahead. You want to put your child in public school, go ahead. But what I'm upset about, what I do not like, and which I'm advocating for, is that it should not be at a
While she was cooking, we lost Dinah real quick, but we're gonna wait for her to get it going. I'll wait for her to come back on the screen. Dinah, we'll edit this all right out for your interview, homegirl. So let's just make sure you once I see you back on the backstage, I'll bring you back on. We're gonna give you your things. We're gonna give you your time. You're gonna reclaim your time, okay? In the meantime, I'm gonna bring Justin back on just to give a little, get a little 1-2. Okay, wait, hold up. I think Donna's coming back. But what do you think so far about the interview, Justin?
Honestly, like, I am like kind of blown away, and just being able to see leaders who look like myself, come from similar backgrounds, advocating and standing up for what's right is what's important. I think right now, we're not experiencing enough radicalness, right? And I feel like, we're in this age of new radicalness, and new age radicalness, and like showing up in that capacity. But I say that all to say that, like, Dinah, she's a storm. She's a force to be reckoned with, and her issues that she's going to face. If she's elected as state rep, I think she will make a really great candidate from the things that I'm
Yes.
seeing, and even her resume. So that's how I feel.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing us to have this quick break and filling in. This is why I like having this play. And Dinah is back. So we're going to bring her back on the stage. Thank you so much, Justin, for that
Of
quick
course.
1-2, 1-2. Hey, look,
Sorry, guys.
we
I think I got a call and it kind of disconnected
oh
us.
yeah, I forgot to tell you, you got to put it on D&D. Oh, you can't hear me? We can hear you. We gonna figure it out. It's live. We are live. Yeah. Let's see. Dinah, can you go out and come back in and see if that helps?
I can't hear you.
Okay. So I'm gonna say go out and come back in and see if that helps. We're gonna help her out there, see if that will uh will make things easier. Look, we're doing a live TV show, okay? Justin, look, can you tell these people what it they don't be understanding the behind the scenes situation. Like, isn't it a lot like to try to do and we're doing this stuff from our homes. We don't have big
Hmm.
productions and all that stuff. So sometimes things are a little off, but I
Things just
like the live
happen.
format,
Yeah, I love the live format too because it just put the realness back into digital media, right? I think just we're entering this age where we have access to our phones, YouTube, all these different platforms, but also too, I think one of the missing components is showcasing, hey, this is real, this is live. Things aren't going to be perfect, but however, we're going to show up and we're going to make sure we're providing value. Those
yes.
are the key things when it comes to this. But y'all, it'd be a lot going on behind the scenes, but I think having an effective team and having understanding folks, support you, it just makes the ride so much more smoother, right, Janae?
No, no, definitely. And look, Donna, we're gonna have your interview edited together. So you'll have one clean swoop. It's just the live is gonna be what it is. And okay, she's back. She's entered the chat. When she gives me a thumbs up, we will bring her back. Justin, I appreciate you. I'm just kind of really liking having a buddy. It's usually me up here talking to myself. So it's been really cool having somebody to really get it going. Okay, so let's
Hmm.
get Donna back. Thank you, Justin.
Of course.
Hey,
I hear you now. Yay.
let's go. Let's go. Come on. You know what? And I just want to give you just for a clean edit break. I just want to give you that question again, just so you could you know,
Finish the
uh
thoughts. I got you.
yeah, finish your thought. And so we were talking about education, correct? And like
Yeah.
where do you believe the legislator should focus its efforts?
They should make sure that we have stronger public schools. Like I said, it shouldn't be at a cost and a detriment to our public schools where you choose to put your child. Like I tell people all the time, I'm not gonna hide it. My parents, I started off in public school and I did most of my life in private school. My last 2 years, I was in public school again. So I know parents, like to try out different locations for their child. But when they have these voucher programs, they decrease the enrollment at the public schools and they don't have the resources and fundings that they need. And the public schools are already struggling with funding because I can tell you I had to use my own resources, my own money out my pocket on a teacher salary to take care of some of the things. And I know a lot of teachers can relate to this where you're using your own money in the classroom. So I think that they should have funding allocated towards public schools because these charter schools are coming in and they're living rent free. They're not paying $1 to the public schools when they come and have their charter school located on the public school campus. So I think the legislators should focus on making our public schools stronger because public schools are very essential in our community and they come and not everyone can put their child in a private school, right? Not everyone. And if there's so-called not enough enrollment in these public schools, so why every time y'all close down a public school, a charter school pops right up in the same neighborhood?
Mhm.
So I'm like, make it make sense. The math ain't mathing. So that's my issue right there. Legislators should focus on increasing teacher salary to reduce teacher shortages and increase teacher retention, and also allocate more funding to our public schools in order to make our public schools stronger. Like even this year, now people paying for lunch now. It used to be free lunch for everybody. Now they just people not paying attention. Like people should have just gotten that email. People are not paying attention what's happening. Now it's gonna make parents, trust me, now they're trying to decrease the enrollment even more. So I was just at the county at the school board meeting last month. They closed 9 schools in Miami-Dade County that day. 9 schools.
Mm.
And they already started up in Broward. So they're trying to make our public schools extinct. extinct. So we have to fight for that. And a lot of people didn't know it until I made that video that went viral. A lot of people are like, what? This is happening next year? We didn't know about it. They try to hide these things and, line up their own pockets, have these deals behind closed doors and getting all these kickbacks. And it affects the people and affects the people, the community. So if I'm going to be that voice and call it out and educate it, then that's what it's going to be. You might not like me at the end of the day, but I'm doing what's in the best interest of my community. And that's what I'm here for. Whether elected or not, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be calling people out, and I'm going to still make sure that our community gets what it deserves. We already are attacked on all ends, on all fronts. So we need to hold these elected officials accountable when these decisions are made. Parents need to have a seat at the table. Teachers, principals need to have a seat at the table. These deals and things shouldn't be happening without our knowledge. So that's what I would have the legislator focus on with public schools. Yes.
All right. Now I can tell you're educated because the way you taking us to school, I can definitely tell. The next question, I'm switching gears just a little bit because property taxes is a huge, not property tax, property insurance. So
Yeah.
Florida has several major property insurance reforms. Do you believe they've gone too far, or is more action needed to help with reform?
I do believe in property insurance reform, but yes, more action is needed because the property insurance crisis is something that is affecting, like I said earlier, so many families. And I think in order to do that, I think there's a lot of things that need to put in place. And like I said, that's something that I'm going to advocate for and implement when I'm in Tallahassee. So number one, they're saying that these insurance companies, the reason the property insurance is so high is because they said that there's so much fraudulent claims and it went up in Florida. So these insurance companies are no longer providing insurance coverage in the state of Florida, and they're moving away. So what they need to do is, if you think there's so many claims, why can't, if someone's on a fixed income, I think they should have funding allocated towards mitigation grants. Like you should have people who are able to apply and get hurricane impact windows. They need to be able to do things to fix their roof because, like I said, a senior on a fixed income, they're not going to be able to pay. They're trying to figure out if they're going to pay for their medication or pay their property taxes right now. They don't have money to get hurricane impact windows or a new roof that's 15, 20 years old. We need to have these mitigation grants so homeowners can have some type of relief, and that will reduce the amount of fraudulent claims within the state of Florida. And we need to have more competitiveness in the insurance market within Florida to attract these insurance companies to come back onto the market. Think about if you had, like, let's give an example, 100 insurance companies providing insurance in the state of Florida. Now you only have 5. So those insurance companies are going to raise the price because they know you only have a handful to pick from. So that's where that high property insurance came in. We need to hold these insurance companies accountable. They need to be more transparent in their prices and their fees and everything that they're offering the community. And we need to have more oversight. So I do believe more property insurance reform is very necessary in Tallahassee with the legislators. And I'm all for it and I'm behind it.
Thank you. My next question is, Tallahassee is Republican controlled. As a Democrat from this district, what's your plan to get legislation passed? Because we just know you got to work with the girls on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. So I say this often. I'm gonna work with everybody. They didn't send me up to, y'all not sending me up to Tallahassee to, punch DeSantis in his face and just be rah back and forth with DeSantis. I'm here to stand up for my community, but I also know the job that I'm going to be elected to do. And that's to pass legislation that can show results and bring back funding and legislation that benefits my community. So working across the aisle to get bipartisan legislation is very important. So having that relationship with people on the other side without compromising my integrity and my morals and my values, and looking at different examples of people who have done it and who have done it before, and looking at what not to do. Because some people, they go into Tallahassee and they will, we're gonna keep it real. They will go.
That's why you're gonna high low. Keep it real.
They go to Tallahassee and they are a complete sellout to their party. And they compromise their integrity and their value, and it looks really bad on us. So when I'm a lifetime student and a lifetime learner. I'm always watching those who come before me, seeing how this is done. So I always give the example. I'm looking at Rep. Felicia Robinson, not compromising anything, able to pass legislation, bring in money. Rep. Wallace, I received certain senators that we have a up there who are Democrat, but they're able to pass legislation. Marie Woodson, they're able to pass legislation, bring in money without selling out themselves or the party, right? So I think that's where I'm looking at and I'm learning from, and I'm looking at people who have done it the wrong way before me, and I want to make sure that I don't fall into that trap, and that's not something that happens to me. So being able to have great communication, great relationships, and be able to introduce bipartisan legislation, because we know my vote, there's only like 35 Democratic legislators out of 120. So we already are the minority up there. The Republican is the majority. I can't go up there thinking that my vote is going to help pass legislation. No, it's going to add to it, but I need to have those connections and those relationships. And I have already made sure that I've been connecting with certain people up there in Tallahassee so that I can be able to effectively pass legislation when I'm up there that will benefit my community. Like I said, again, without compromising my integrity and my moral values
Thank
and not
you.
selling out my community.
That part, because we're gonna be talking about you on High Low if you do that now. I was just
I'm trying to hold me accountable. Y'all gotta hold me accountable.
that part. You know what, Dinah, our time has come to an end, but because we had a few tech issues, I want to give you this last question, give you this opportunity to answer it. And I think it's an important conversation to have. The district includes communities that rely on good paying jobs, economic development, and support for small businesses. What policies would you champion to grow the economy, create jobs, and help entrepreneurs and small business owners succeed?
Like I said, as a small business owner, I know that small businesses are the backbone of every single community. So having more businesses is the key to having more economic growth, economic opportunity, because businesses create jobs. My business, I'm able to hire employees to work, and they're in turn able to provide for their families. So every time you have a business open, those are more jobs that are being created within our community. And what I think that should be done with in regards to businesses is we are overlooked so much, especially minority small businesses. A lot of these contracts are not given to us. They're not given to local media. We're kind of left out of all this money that's coming in. I think that they should focus. Yep. Yep.
I speak on it.
So I need someone to have a voice up there, which is me. You guys need someone to have a voice up there that'll make sure that these government contracts, why are they going to these big corporations? Like I sit in on some of the meetings and I'm like, the names of these people that they're giving their contracts to is not it doesn't benefit the actual community. This is not someone that is creating jobs that are going to hire people in their local community. So I think that just getting again that funding to help grow small businesses and making sure that they get access to those contracts and that money that they're giving out on the state level, even the local level, like because I go to the local meetings. Even though I'm running for a state race, I have to go to my local meetings. I was just in El Portal City Council meeting 2 nights ago. I'm in Miami Shores. I'm in North Miami. I'm over there in Arcola Lakes. I go to because I need to see what's going on. I need to understand what's going on in our communities, and that's one of the big things that I see. The contracts that they're giving, whether it be just like who's picking up the trash. Like there are people who that you can give that's right here within the district that you can give these contracts to, and that's what I would advocate for in Tallahassee to increase economic growth and small businesses and economic opportunities within our community. So that's very important to me as a small business owner. I know the struggle. I'm part of the struggle. So these are things that I've experienced, and I know I've seen it all the time. I help people who come to my office who know that we're helping the community, and I help them, start their first business and give them resources that they need to, apply for grants and different loans and different things. But that is not readily available in our community. So that's why I said I do want to have those hubs to help people within the district to be able to navigate the home buying process and get those first time home buyer programs set up and funding towards that. Small businesses, giving them to navigate those waters that might be foreign to them. You want to start a business, but you don't know where to start. And just helping those small business owners will have a huge impact on our community.
Thank you. And I'm going to throw both of you a curveball. We didn't even talk about this, but Justin, I'm coming to you. Justin, just from a Gen Z perspective, Dinah is elected and she's running for office. She's representing your demographic as well. I would like to know a question that you would like to ask Dinah as a candidate running for state representative.
Yeah, honestly, like, well, first off, Dinah, thank you for even making the time to even come on here today.
Of course.
I think for me, I was just most impressed because I'm a very action-oriented person because I am a small business owner too, and I know what it takes to keep that going, right? But you being a former public school teacher, right? So you got to experience from the education side to you being a chairwoman of Florida Rising Miami Dade to you being vice president of Miami Dade Democratic Haitian Caucus. How has all these roles prepared you to take on this role, this potential role? And like, what advice would you give someone like a Gen Zer who has the hopes to strive to become a candidate themselves in the future?
Okay, so very, very important. So I feel like that's why I feel like this is my time. It's our time to lead because, and I've been setting myself up so much in a way that this is like the perfect opportunity for for the generation to come out and represent us. So like being elected, when I decided, you know what, I'm going to take that call, just getting into those political spaces and having people around you that want to push you. We know that there are a lot of gatekeepers. So I try to surround myself and go into groups and stuff like that. Sometimes they didn't look like me, but they were the ones that were able to get me in the door. And, I try to make a seat at the table for myself when other people don't allow you to. Some people will probably look at you as arrogant, but if they're blocking you off, guess what? You got to make sure you get your way in there. So I know that I got elected that year last 2 years ago. In May as the Florida Rising Chairwoman. That same year, got elected, boom, to DEC State Committee Woman. Got applied to sit on a county commission board. Currently sit on the county commission board with nuisance and abatement. I'm on several different boards with the Haitian National Teachers Association and another teacher groups that I help out with. I just set myself up in that way and just finding someone who will give you access. So you're Gen Z. I work with a lot of, and when I go to schools, when I go speak at schools, they come to me. They're like, I want to be a senator one day. I want to be this. I work with the kids at FIU and they're telling me this. So what I do, I get them involved with my foundation and I guide them. And, they were with me at my last forum. One of them were there. They're there when I give out the community. I set them up to serve. So I think finding somebody who gives you access and joining these organizations that, okay, I want to be a candidate one day. Let me become a member of Florida Rising. Let me run for something in Florida Rising. Let me join this caucus. Let me join that group. And then it gives you the political exposure that you need so you're able to navigate that space and finding people that are for you. Because again, not everyone's going to be for you. Like I'm going to tell you this was not, this is very, it was not easy. This road is not easy. Sometimes you think the people that are going to be with you, they're not going to be with you. Find your people. Find your people that are not jealous, people who just want to see you succeed on every level possible, and connect with them. Like connect with me, because I open doors for young people. Those are the young people I like to work with. I know I was in college at FIU as well, graduated from there in my bachelor's, went over to UCF to study speech pathology. After that, I know that I would have wanted some exposure in somebody in my community to guide me and say, hey, this is what's going on here politically. Do you want to be here? Do you want to sit at the table? But a lot of times they reject you. So find somebody like me or someone else who is willing to give youth that exposure that they need to help them get to the next step. A lot of people feel like if a young person comes in, that means that they're out, they're eliminated, no more space for them. But I think I'm trying to get people to understand that we can work together. There's room for everybody, there's room for everybody to serve. And that's how you advance your community, by opening doors. And we don't want you to, it's not a lifetime. I'm not going to be in office forever. So that's why I take these young people and help them, have them come, have them phone bank with me, volunteer with me, give food, give back to the community, because I know they're next up. They're next up. I want them to be next up. I want them to say, hey, she was my mentor. She helped me. She supported me. She did this for me. And this is why I'm here today. Sometimes you don't have people like that and you have to force your way in. I don't want any young person to have to force their way into anything anymore. I want it to be completely open, where it's not like a takeover, but was like, we're here, we're ready, give us a chance. So I'm asking the community to give me a chance, ask people to give you a chance when you're ready to step up and serve, and show them that you're ready for the job.
Thank you. Look,
Thank you.
a question just came in on the chat. Sometimes y'all know I click before I read sometimes. What's going on with your opponent harboring a fugitive who has been harassing you, Maggie Belazar Lopez? Is this true? Donna, what's going on with this?
Listen.
Boy, I may
Um,
have to get you big on the screen. What's going on?
y'all done zoomed in on me.
Yes. Wait, first of all, is this true?
Oh gosh.
Or
So
alleged? Or like, can you explain to us why this came through the chat?
Yeah.
okay, so whew. So Miami Herald called me about this yesterday. They're like, they're rolling in their endorsements for District 108. And they're like, hey, we looked you up, we did a background check. We saw there's someone that's, I guess, like harassing you. So it's a long story, but basically after my father passed away, there's someone that was our secretary, the family secretary, and they started using our last name illegally for financial and political gain, open up a business under our name. So this person has been stalking and harassing me. They're currently wanted by the police, but I think they're the spokesperson for my opponent. So I guess they're like friends like this. So I guess, yeah. So my opponent has been using this person to kind of attack me like on the Haitian radios and just different things. And they know where the person is. I think the police probably called my opponent out about it, but it's just bad. Like it's like I told you, this road is not easy. Like my opponent, my communications director was attacked, physically, just from saying my name at an event where my opponent was by her team. We have video. It's just been when you're running for office, sometimes you have to be very careful. So I think I'm okay now. I have a restraining order against that person, but it's just like I tell everybody, pray for me, because not everybody, like I said, not everybody wants to see you win, and they will attack you to no end. So I mean, I was raised Christian. Every time I see my opponent, I say, hey, how are you? They don't respond, they roll their eyes, but I'm always gonna say hi. I'm always gonna be respectful, especially of my elders. And I think this person, that person is just like out there still. And yeah. So y'all pray for me. Y'all pray for me. So
We're
if y'all
definitely praying. I gotta make sure we gotta reach out to this person because what you doing? What
yeah.
you? ch- But we gonna keep it neutral. We gonna keep it neutral.
Mhm.
Cause our last name,
I
the Escarment last name is very popular, like within my community. Cause my dad, like I said, he was very active. Like it's a huge name, just like the Meek name is popular in the American community. The Escarment last name is like when we knock on doors, they already know who we are. My dad was here for 20 years prior to me, and continuing the legacy for the last 5 years. Like it's very popular. So I think the whole was just using our name so people can think that they're related to us, so they can like get clients. And I think she ran for office somewhere. You trying to use our name. It's just a lot of stuff. So that's what's going on with that person. So I think my opponent, a lot of people say she's harboring her. So I'm not sure how that goes. So yeah.
We definitely appreciate you for even just shining
take it,
light.
Justin. I don't even know
Yeah,
what to say.
yeah. I have to admit, I just appreciate you for just like being vulnerable about like the different sides of being a candidate and running in the political. I think oftentimes, we see the lights, we see the endorsements, we see the speeches, we see the teams, but we also don't see those other things that could be so detrimental to your candidacy. But not even if we separate the candidacy versus the candidate, right? It could be detrimental. But I think all in all, there's a really appreciate you for even just sharing that piece with us. We definitely appreciate it, and we definitely gonna pray for you. It's taking everything in me to continue to be neutral. But however, I just wanted to like say that piece to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No, and I appreciate you for sharing your story. And this is a safe space. And at first, I didn't really even fully understand what I was reading. So just thank you for sharing that as somebody who's shared issues or like my story with domestic violence and just anytime someone is vulnerable to share like something personal like that says a lot. I commend you, and the fact that you're still out there paving the pavement, knowing that this person is kind of hovering around and you're like, no, this is so important to me that I get my message out there and that people get to know me. So just kudos to you just on some I'm taking the journalist hat off. Just kudos to you, just on some real ish, because any other person would be like, I'm not doing that. I was actually talking to my mom recently about safety and things like that. As you know, my profile is elevated. So just want to just really give you just all the love, a virtual hug, and just all the kudos in the world, because that's not easy. We're gagged and we're shocked. And I see some people laughing at our reaction, but it's not funny at all. But it was just more
Right.
so I was just like, what? I kind of was like, well, what's and your opponent is just it's so Miami politics. It's just that's the
That's
randomness of
what it
Miami
is. That's
politics,
what it
right?
is. Yeah. I mean, I'm
Yes.
good. I have a watch order over my house and my business, but that's sometimes you still have to be careful and vigilant. Like, I walk with people all the time wherever I go. I try not to go to events by myself after I think her partner attacked me, committed bad. So just politics is very dangerous. Like, I do not walk by myself anymore because we know these people are out there, but it is a lot. I think, like you said, it's Miami politics. I don't think this happens. People are like, this doesn't happen like anywhere else like that. I think it's Miami. Yeah.
Thank you, Dinah. And Justin, I'm going to come back to you. I want to give Dinah just a full screen so that she can share, just before she goes, why the residents and voters in District 108, why they should vote for her.
So thank you so much again, Janae, for having me on the show today. Like, this was an incredible, incredible interview. And I'm glad that we got to speak to the community about the different policies that we have in place, and that we want to advocate for in Tallahassee. I mean, the main thing that I want to leave with people is we need to have someone in office with integrity that we can hold accountable. Sometimes people say it's about experience, it's about it, but integrity is important. So there's people who are publishing they bought this and such money to the community when they're in office, but the math ain't mathing. I need people to do their due diligence and make sure that when you vote for someone, you are researching them, you are looking at their background, and you're making sure that you choose the right candidate for the job. And I know that I'm the most qualified candidate for the job. So if you want someone who's going to make sure, like I said, that government works for the people, someone who fights for the people, someone who is the people, then Dinah Escarment is your choice. I'm a new generation leader. There's been a trend across the country for the last year of Gen Zs and millennials winning these seats. We've seen the example of Mandami, and I'm on some Mandami type stuff. Like, I'm calling it out. I'm like the female Mandami, the female Black Mandami, because I'm just trying to make sure that the government works for the people that I serve. Like I said, I don't want to be owing donors. They wrote an article about me. I do not take bad money. And in my forum last week, they said, this is your first time running. How do you have more outside contributions? You outpace the people who are running against you. And I think that speaks to a lot. That speaks volumes. That means the community is ready for change. They're ready for new leadership. They're tired of the old way politics is done, and they are investing in me to be their voice in Tallahassee. So when your community invests in you, and you don't need to rely on these big donors that are going to ask you to do the wrong things, I think that says a lot about you and your character and what you represent and how you be able to conduct yourself when you're actually in elected office. So if you want someone who's fighting to end political corruption, who can stand up to Trump and the MAGA Republican extremists, who can actually be honest and have trust that you can trust, not someone who is saying that they're going to fight for Haitian TPS and call your senators, but then they're on the same slate, Republican slate, with Ashley Moody and Rick Scott. Where they do that at? So I want people to be mindful and vigilant. Do your research. The same people that's acting like they're going to protect you, they're actually in bed with these people. So that's very important that I call things out like I see them, and make sure that no one makes the wrong decision when choosing a candidate. I'm always going to be here, like I said, regardless of whether getting elected or not. I know this is my time, but whether I'm in the seat or not, the past 5 years, I'm a problem solver. A lot of people like to talk about problems, but they never talk about how they're going to give the solutions or actually take part in solutions. When I, as a former teacher, when I saw the disparities in the classroom, what did I do? I used my own resources to help these kids out who only ate 2 times a day, breakfast, lunch at school. When I came to the community as a business owner, I did backpack drives every year. I solved a problem that I saw was needed. When Trump got into office, what did I do? I partnered with a Republican who got funding from Tallahassee with Amigos Foundation, and we were the first person since COVID to be able to have a free citizenship drive at the North Miami Public Library. I saw a problem. They said that they wanted to become citizens because they knew that Trump was going to be in office and he had all these things that were going to attack the Haitian community. So we help Bahamians, Jamaicans, Haitians, Hispanic people that day, and it was an overwhelming. I see the need and I act on it. Earlier this year, I was in Tallahassee because FPL done raised our light bills. A lot of people they see the bills go up, but they don't know that's something that happened in Tallahassee. So I go to Tallahassee back and forth and advocate on these issues. Every time I see an issue, I find a solution to the problem. If you want someone who is consistently finding a solution to the problem, affordable housing, got on with Florida Rising for the landlord registry campaign, knocking on doors to stop these landlords from raising the prices on people. Every time I see a problem in the community, I act on it. I'm a solution finder. I am a problem solver. So I don't just talk the talk, I walk the walk. So imagine what I can do on your behalf in Tallahassee. So if you were confused about who to vote for, if you want the same problems, then keep voting for the same recycled politicians. If you want change, if you're tired of politics as usual and you want to put people over politics, then choose Dinah Escarment for your future state representative for District 108 and punch 103. Early voting starts Monday.
Yes, you said a mouthful. Dinah Escarment supporters, get some Dinahs in the chat. Get us some applause in the chat. Thank you so much, Dinah. Even we worked through some technical issues. I appreciate you for pushing through. Thank you for telling your story, getting vulnerable. And this was an amazing, amazing conversation. What is your website so we could let people know how to support you, follow you, donate? Let's give them all those things on how they could connect with you real quick.
Instagram, all my social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok is my name, Dinah Escarment, DINAHESCARMENT. Website, www.dinahescarment.com. Help us not take corporate money and show them that the community supports. Go ahead on the website, donate today to get me to Tallahassee. Go on my page, go on Mobilize.
Again? You broke up a little bit for me.
Sorry,
Just give me the other part. Like Dinah what?
DinahEscarment.com.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put it in the comments for people.
And volunteer. We need people at the polls. Early voting starts on Monday. Whatever time you can volunteer throughout the week to help us do our days of action canvassing, be a poll worker, a poll volunteer, reach out to us, go on my Mobilize link and support.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Punch 103. That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Dinah. Put DinahEscarment.com. This has been an amazing conversation. Thank you again for sharing. Thank you. You are now a friend of the show. Please come back. Let us know what you got going on. And we don't tell people who to vote for. We present the candidates so you guys can make the best decision for yourself. May the best person win, and God bless you in your campaign, Dinah.
Thank you so much, sis. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that was amazing, y'all. Give it up for Dinah. Come on now. She was so gracious with her time and I could tell how thorough she is. So definitely just want to thank all the candidates that are dropping by High Low News to do their thing, to talk to you guys. Pay attention. Who values our platform? I'm not saying that. I think it's a good thing if they do that. You could judge that for what you want to judge it for, because some people ain't returning the calls and the texts. So yeah, but oh well, that's on them. I want everybody to know the platform is for everybody, nonpartisan, Democrat, Republican, Independent, anybody can come on. Definitely want to just thank her again. Let me bring Justin back to the stage, because Justin, were you not gagged?
Honestly, I think I was just gagged throughout the interview, but that last part really
that's the part I'm talking about. Because I said, wait, what? It touched my heart. I was like, wait, no, somebody's harboring a fugitive who who harassing the little girl. Come on now, don't do that. I mean, not little girl. I'm getting too comfortable, but like the woman, she looks so young.
Yes.
But it's like that's crazy. That was crazy. The
Mhm.
crazy thing is this, and I don't know if y'all saw in the chat. Me and Justin didn't really know what the. This is why we love live, right? Because we both were
Mhm.
like, what?
Yeah, because I'm like
Huh?
when one of the viewers kind of presented that comment, I couldn't really process it, and we had to. Janae, I'm so glad that you pointed that comment out, right? Because we were able to even kind of find a whole new layer when it comes to voting and the candidacy and just like how politics really can be sometimes.
hmm No, it was very, very we but that is like I said, we take comments live, we look at the comments live in the chat, right? And yes, loved
Hmm.
her ability to be open as well. Like because I could tell at first I had to kind of calm back and I also too like I hope I wasn't too pushy. That's the reporter in me because I could tell she was taken aback a little bit, like, oh, they actually brought that up. But
Hmm.
who this? Let me see that name of that person. McGilligas, what it was? Maria
It,
Maggie Belazar Lopez. We need to interview Maggie. Maggie, and I think you need to come on Friday's show with me and Justin. We want to bring you to the front of the group. The group. You need to come to
hmm.
the front. You need to come to the front. What's up, Marlon? What's up? August 3rd, early voting begins. August 6th, deadline to request your vote by mail ballot. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you for that.
We need to put out a graphic saying that. I know a lot of people will have the information out there, but we need to do our part. Thank you so much, Marlon, for sharing that, bringing that to the screen. Woo! Woo! I need the new show. I gotta catch my edge is still intact. That's
They
next week.
they
That was just
they
this is what
still
I love
there.
so much about this. Great, great, great conversation. Whew. But that kind of just took me back. I was just like, fugitive. Uh, we're gonna do a quick commercial break and we're gonna come back after these messages.
Plastic bags don't go in the recycling. It's Recycle Right, the game where we find out what's recyclable and what's garbage. Ready to play? Go. So many items we toss daily, like cardboard, cans, cartons, glass, and plastic bottles, can actually be recycled in our curbside collection program for a cleaner community. The rest is garbage, like your uncle's aim. When you recycle right, we all win. Take your victory lap.
Every drop has a purpose. It nurtures more than just our gardens. Protect what connects us. Conserve what sustains us. Because water is life.
Welcome back to Hello News Live, our new weekly live show where we're doing interviews, hot topics, commentary, and conversations with our correspondents. And we're going to be opening up the chat lines too. So I want to bring Justin back on the screen, back to the show. Justin, let's see what's our next topic here on the show that we want to get into because we got a juicy show. Like this is our launch, our first episode. And you
Hmm.
know what? I want to switch gears to the Miami Herald candidate endorsements. Did y'all
Yes.
have y'all been seeing? You know what? I think this is a good one to test the chat lines with the girls. Let me put it in the let me put it in the comments. But Justin, have you seen some of the endorsements and were you surprised by some of the choices?
Honestly, no.
Mm,
It's really interesting because I feel like even the way endorsements are, it's changed over the last 20 years because we're so used to seeing these endorsements in the newspapers, right? And then now it's like people are digitally endorsing these individuals, but also too, I think something that really like took me aback a bit was that like when it comes to newspaper endorsements, like
mm,
it's an opinion from the editorial board, so it's not a report or written by actual political
good
reporters.
call.
So I
Hmm
think y'all, an endorsement is not a vote, and I just think it should not replace a voter doing their own research. So because certain platforms are endorsing certain individuals, that doesn't automatically make like, oh, the right candidate for you. But I think it's important to do your own research outside of the endorsements that are being showcased.
Like, honestly, I really, really love your breakdown and your assessment of it, because it is that's what it is. It gives you, you know, we're not going to act like there's not weight from um certain publications, right? We're not going to act like
Mhm.
that's not a real thing. However, it's still up to you as the voter to do your research. And for some people, if they heavily value a certain outlet, then that does make a difference. I think it's all
Right.
like relative. I think it's all perspective. I think it's all like what you see. So I think like you say, it's not the end all be all. You still have to do your research. However,
Mhm.
it does say something when you see certain publications or certain people giving their endorsement. Like it has some weight to it. So
Mhm.
the chat lines are open. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, the link is there. Anybody want to come on and get it off your chest? If you want to talk about the hot topics of the day, jump on the chat line with me and Justin and talk about it real quick. But I want to pull up um just see if I could pull up the Miami Herald website just to go through some of the bigger endorsements. And I actually just saw one and she was a guest on the show. So Ashley, Ashley Gant got the Miami Herald endorsement. And she,
Oh.
yes, that was that race right there. So let's see. Do we got it on the screen? Is it a Justin? Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
make
we
sure
could we
show.
could we could we could see it on the screen here.
Can we see the girls? Okay. So these are the candidates that are running. Shannon Nigodaro, Christine Alexandria, she's been on the show, and State Rep Ashley Gant has been on the show. We actually had to reschedule Councilwoman, former Miami Gardens Councilwoman Shannon Nigodaro. So I'm hoping to get her on the show as well. But this, I saw Ashley's post actually about it, and she's like, thank you. So, Ashley went to Carroll City, homegrown, was a teacher as an attorney, and she was state rep now, and now she's running for state senator. So her trajectory has just been on the rise. And so I wonder, to me, it makes sense for the Miami Herald to endorse her because of the experience that she's gathered. And honestly, she just ran for office in 2020 and is like kicking people back, saying all through Tallahassee.
Mhm.
And she's a millennial too. So to Dinah's in your point about like the younger generation coming in and making a splash, like it's it's we're seeing it in real time. Is that do you like what is the Gen Z saying about like that Mandami movement? Let me know what the young kids saying, Justin.
I feel like low key, like, seeing all these like these young candidates is making voting fun again, right? I think,
Mm,
there was a point of time where, the Americans were, specifically Black Americans, we were disappointed. And I don't think with that disappointment, it kind of caused like disruption and forgetting the power of our vote, right? But having leaders like Ashley Gant, Christine, in our communities and who are doing the work and have the experience to leverage it, it just it sparks that inspiration again. And I think that's
mhm.
thing that we need more than ever, because I'll be honest with you, because I just turned 29 the other day, right? So
Is that
literally just
in Gen Z or millennial? Look at
that's
me
Gen
trying to
Z.
make you
So
look at
so
me, look
literally
at my old ass trying to make you
I kind of feel like I'm a millennial, because I feel like,
millennial. Yes.
being in 97, that's the last year of a Gen Z, but I was like often exposed to like, I was raised around older people. So like I kind of got the best of both worlds in a sense, you know?
Mhm.
But back to my point I was making, I feel like, right now, like I said, Gen Zers, we definitely, you know, um, are finding more inspiration in getting back in the field. Oh no, I'm sorry, I found my point again. My point is I feel like just being a Gen Zer and just at this age, this primary election is so like I haven't seen a primary election so important to people, especially young people, right?
Mhm.
And this is nationwide. I'm seeing friends from all over, followers from all over who are actually taking the steps to express their votes, express their opinions, align with leaders who not only look like them but also has those same values and focusing on those initiatives that we find important. So yeah, that's how I feel about it all right now. I definitely feel like we're in a really good place with reclaiming our vote, for real, for real.
Mm, definitely. And speaking of reclaiming votes or highly contested votes, have you been paying attention to some of the tea with Congressional District 24?
Oh my gosh. So first of all, actually, is this? I was waiting for this because I actually posted a content like a few weeks ago about like the voting redistricting, like in gerrymandering, right? So for the people that don't know, right? So district there has basically right now. Let me pull up my notes because I have some really cool things here.
Give
So
us
I
the
think
data. Come on now.
right. So I think overall, y'all, like we gotta remember that like this race is much more than personalities. It's about representation, redistricting, and what voters believe effective leadership should look like, right? So for those that don't know, Florida congressional map was redrawn ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. So this new map essentially eliminated the 25th congressional district represented by Debbie Wasserman Schultz. The redrawn district where she lives became more Republican leaning, leading her to enter the Democratic primary for District 20. So, with that being said, the Democratic Party, it's primarily scheduled for August 18th, as we know. But, we all know that District 20 is heavily Democratic. So, like, whoever kind of solidifies that role will become the district's next representative. And her entry, became controversial allegedly because, District 20 has already been, historically been Black and Democratic. And we had, it's always had a leader who was Black presenting since the 1990s. So I think where I can see where the controversy come in at because, former Congresswoman Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick has accused Wasserman Schultz of participating in or benefiting from the political erasure of Black representation in South Florida.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that because and honestly, I think 20 and 24, like those two races, are really, really highly watched because of like it'll be two Black Democratic, potentially Congress people coming in. But the 24 race, with that's with Chevron and Oliver and Robbery and Maurice and Kendrick Meeks. This endorsement though was I got sent that so many times. Like, did you see? Did you see? Did you see? So the Miami Herald actually chose dun 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 Chevron Jones for their endorsement.
What? Wow. That made me smile. That makes you really happy to hear. Honestly.
Wait, okay. And at this time, we doing our commentary. We're not journalists right now. We doing our commentary. Tell me why.
Right.
Tell me why that endorsement means that to you.
Well, I think I'm gonna always go back to just me being a Black man, a young Black man, and seeing someone at his stature with his experience and his passion. It really excites me. I saw his interview with Hilo, and he was kind of like emphasizing like a lot of people thought like he would like go to the Tallahassee to focus on LGBTQ plus issues only. By the way, I'm also part of the LGBTQ plus community. But his main thing was he's like, I'm for my people. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to show up, and I'm always going to take the next steps to show up for Black folk. And I think a lot of times too, just seeing individuals getting these candidacies, there's a lot of sugarcoating with the verbiage. So like just seeing him show up and seeing him be who he is, and like seeing him with all his experience, like I mentioned, being endorsed by Miami Herald, I mean, it's 10s across the board for me.
I have not, said publicly if I'm for or against or excited or not excited about certain things. I will say this as we were saying before, there is a heavy weight when it comes to the Herald, like that. We can't act like, and I started there. I got my start in journalism at the Herald, and so it always has a special place in my heart. I actually see some Miami Herald alum in the chat, right? And so to get this endorsement, I'm pretty sure many of the candidates wanted this endorsement, right? Because like I said,
right.
And also too, there's something to think about. The district spans way past just Miramar, Miami Gardens, like where there's like heavily condensed Black populations. Even like I think Opelika and Liberty City is a part of it, but it
Mm-hmm.
goes out into like these different areas that where we're not the majority, right? And so this is where I think an endorsement like this maybe weighs more too, because these people are maybe paying attention more to the Miami Herald. Now, here's the thing: Miami Times endorsement is going to come out, and that's the legacy Black-owned newspaper. So I'm interested to see where they lean in this. But it definitely, it definitely was a shock to some people that this went this way. But
Of
you know,
course.
congratulations to Chevron for that. Now, I will just give some context too. There is a reporter there who may not be, but it was the editorial review board. So I will say this, but some of that stuff is intertwined. All I'm gonna say is I've
Right.
not seen the most flattering um pieces for other candidates. I'll say that. And
Mm.
so when I saw this, even though I was probably a little bit surprised, not totally because of some of the things that go on internally, but also to um I think maybe they listen to sometimes the court of public opinion as well. Like, and when
Mm-hmm.
you see Chevron has a lot of going on in the court of public opinion on social, so I think they taking in a lot of different things, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
oh, so the Miami Times already released their endorsement, so endorsed Oliver Gilbert last month. Oh, okay. Thank you for sharing that, Andrea.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
yeah, so that's the thing. These endorsements, and it's like, here's the other thing too. Every little bit counts. Every little bit that you could get, every little bit of support that you could get counts, right? And so, look, Chevron is collecting his endorsements. Oliver's collecting his
Mm-hmm.
endorsements. They're collecting these things like comic books, like Infinity Stones,
Yeah, they
and
collect like Infinity Stones for real.
we gonna see, you know, they're hot button collector items, and every big, essentially every big one that comes through, it's like, oh, here goes some. I'm scooping me up some more votes. Oop, scooping me up some more votes. That's what it kind of feels like. So you see the endorsements rolling out, and yeah, the Miami Herald endorsements. Another big one, and I was trying to find the article just to give us a visual, was the Debbie Wasserman Schultz endorsement from the Herald. She's in Congressional District 20, so we could get back to
Oh,
that, because and that's a perfect segue into into the conversation that we want to have about Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick.
mm,
So the rings of power.
ye-
Come on, Infinity
okay.
Stone. And so let me add this to the screen. So the Miami Herald endorsed Debbie. Are we surprised? Are we surprised? Look,
So
okay, you go, then I'm gonna go.
if we're talking about, because you said this is the Miami Hill, right? And we're
Mhm.
speaking from the larger demographic perspective outside of traditional District 20 communities, right? I would say I'm not surprised. Um, am I a bit shocked compared to the other candidates? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So that's where I'm gonna leave it at right now, because I am really looking forward to hearing what you have to say, Janae. Because I have my pieces ready, but I definitely want to hear what you have to say about this. Like, are you surprised about this endorsement for of Debbie?
Honestly, I'm kind of not. I am, but I'm not. It's surprising in the sense of like you said, these endorsements help you scoop up more media attention, maybe a few more
Mm-hmm.
votes, changing in public opinion. So there's that. I wouldn't say surprised, but it all, to me, it feels like it pushes the chance to win for the Black candidates a little bit lower to me.
Look,
And I'm gonna
I
say this
agree.
because even though that district is more I wouldn't say majority, but the largest group, I guess you would say the majority, the largest group of the largest demographic there is Black people. It's about 40
Mm-hmm.
something percent. But that means there's almost like 60% that's non-Black, right? And I think it's
Mm-hmm.
majority is of course minority majority, but that means there's still a percentage that's
Not
non-minority. So
correct.
that to me is like gives a little bit of oomph to Debbie with that community, right? And then also too, let's be clear, even though it seems a little sketch that she's running in this race, Debbie has been a congresswoman for like what 20 something years. So
Uh-huh.
I know her name. She's one of the first interviews that I did at when I was at CBS 4. That was like, ooh, what 10, 15 years ago. So she wasn't new to Congress then. And so all of that to say is like she's definitely well known, and I bet she's definitely well known in that Herald building. Like they know her work, they know the receipts that she has, and
Mm-hmm.
she has been for the most part. Before this, I didn't see her as a problematic ally locally, right? Like she seems to
Mm-hmm.
always stand with the other Congress people and elected officials when it came to certain issues, right? So I'm not surprised with that. I think with Sheila Cherfilus-McCormick with her legal ethics committee, Dale Holness is,
Mm-hmm.
not sure why. I feel like it could have been him. I feel like Luke, maybe because he's like not been elected before, maybe the music background. And then Elijah is just a younger candidate. So I could see how some of them may have not gotten
Mm-hmm.
it. But yeah, it's giving
It's it's
I'm not
it's it's
I'm not gonna say that, but it's
yeah.
it's
I honestly feel, Janae,
I'm trying to get my
I
words together because I'm trying
I know, I know. I'm with you. I'm with you when you're right. Let's walk with me here. So let me walk with you.
to.
I do feel like just like ultimately, just from a historical standpoint, and we've seen how like gerrymandering has ultimately kind of like contributed to the erosion of Black representation in
Mm,
communities. So when it comes to these things like these endorsements, right? I don't want people to get so fixated on like this is who you should vote for, right? Like I mentioned earlier, we should also do extensive research on those who are being presented, right? But also we do got to be real here because of if this if District 20 wasn't redistricted, and wasn't more yeah, just wasn't redistricted, I don't think she would have even ran for District 20. I don't think she would
no,
have
it's
I don't
because
think she
it's
would have not ran for
her
District
seat.
20.
Yeah, her seat disappeared.
Hmm.
And so this brings us a perfect segue into the Sheila Cherfilus McCormick Debbie feud. So when
Hmm.
Sheila was on the show, she said that because of redistricting, her district disappeared. There was one, of course, in her area because Debbie she not from Sis Trunk, she from
Mm-mm.
Weston, right? So it would have been a more competitive race,
Hmm.
and she decided that it would have been an easier path to victory. This is all allegedly, this is all internal inside baseball talk, that it
Yeah.
would have been an easier path to victory for her to run in 20, right? And she came in with a war chest of something like, I've been hearing something like 12 or 13, $14 million. So she came in with her coins, right? Um, and so because of that, like to your point, she would have not been over here had it not been for the redistricting. And the thing is this, like you said, I don't want to tell anybody to vote for her. If you vote for Debbie Wasserman, sure. If you for her, that's cool. I just think it will be just really kind of sad to see like this Democratic seat that has been held by Black representation for decades at this point. And I think before the first person got elected, it had been like 100 years since they had Black representation in Congress for this
Hmm.
seat, right? And so we already have so little as is, and they're redistricting. We don't have the numbers that it's just like one less person. And I'm just hoping, like I said, Debbie ain't never, I don't know what she looks like when she represents majority minority. So let's see. Let's see. But we gotta hope that her priorities benefit that community in an equitable way. And
Hmm.
it just feels like you're taking a gamble, not, you know,
Hmm.
with
Because I'm
somebody
like,
not of the complexion previously. And like I said, that doesn't determine that you will do XYZ thing, but it makes me feel a little bit more confident or like assured that you will. And we know that people who look like us don't always do the right thing either. So like I said, it's just all
mhm.
relative, but it is kind of interesting that she just hopscotched and Tootsie rolled all over the 20 and didn't stay in her area in the Western area. It still feels very weird. But here's the thing too that people don't know about Congress. Even though people say you don't live in a district, you don't have to live in a district.
You
You do
don't.
not have to live in a district that you run in. So she's well within her right. She could do it. But I'm gonna let you get your thought on this, and I'm gonna get us into what Sheila said about it all.
Yeah, I just feel like, ultimately, like, I just think it's like I said, it's important to understand different arguments about leadership, right? But I think what we have to really understand that, like, at the end of the day, voters in general have to decide which argument is supported by the strongest record, platform, and connection to the district. So I just think ultimately, just with this conversation, I just think representation matters just as much as experience, because we all have lived experiences, and I don't think someone is more qualified based on specific things versus this individual who has extensive experience in this level. I think leadership is something earned and not given. So that's where I'm going to end off on that note, Janae.
Thank you. That was a great great point, Justin. And just to just real quick talk about the conversation, because I want to switch gears to the Gen Z report. And Sheila was like, I got some tea that Debbie had her eye on this seat for some time, allegedly, and that there has started being things being done behind the scenes to be able, because they knew that redistricting was coming. The Republicans had the numbers to redistrict, and they knew that it was coming. And years back, Debbie's team saw what would be the easiest pathway to victory, and they looked at 20, and she shimmied right over there. And Sheila, in so many words, allegedly said, like, Debbie's the reason kind of why a lot of that stuff that happened with her, her getting investigated by the ethics committee. I saw some things with the Justice Department. I'm not even quite sure, like, if criminal charges have been charged. I haven't seen anything or confirmed it. But, she was in the news about that money with the COVID and everything else. And so she came on the podcast. Go watch a great interview. And she's just like, yeah, like, she said this. She's like, she couldn't really say that it was Debbie, like, directly, but she was like this: the person who led the campaign against her is somebody with the last name Schultz. I can't remember the guy's first name, but that's Debbie's brother. So it's like the hit pieces that you saw. I want to say hit pieces, but the media, the things that went out, the way it came out, her brother was the one pushing it. Debbie Wasserman Schultz's brother was pushing it all. And so that's what Sheila dropped that tea on the show. It's like, look, she's like, what, can't you draw 2 and 2 together? You make me look bad, because she was on a pathway to be reelected. You make me look bad, tear me down, so that it's easier for her to not have a contender in me. And she was forced to, step down from her position, but she was like, she had always planned to run for reelection. So that's why she's still in the race. But she just had to be, she said she got pressured from the party to step down. And as we all know, definitely Debbie is big in the Democratic Party here in Florida. So, child, the girls it sounds like a very nefarious, very detailed and calculated plan that started years ago. And the way it all spelled out, I see why Sheila is like, now, I wish she could have talked about it more then. I think that the case details, she really couldn't. But now she's like being more bold about it. But I'm like, girl, the way they had you, it looked like you stole, like you was about to go to the feds. The way they had you on the thing, I wish there was a way for her to have a better counter narrative, because the way it was presented in the media, you would have thought she stole straight from Fort Knox. Straight from Fort Knox.
I want to say one thing, because, like, we got to remember why, right, Janae? Being Black, being woman, I think just all those things are intersectional. So when we think about a lot of issues in America, we got to think about the intersectionality and how, like, intersectionality contributes to, like, our existence in the way that policies are put in place for us, right?
Mhm.
So because she's going to be more demonized, and we got to also incorporate, ages. Even her, her being an older woman, her being a Black woman, but in being a woman, they're going to demonize her. So like I do appreciate like her even speaking her truth, and her providing the facts, providing additional details to us, and leaning on
Mhm.
us, but ultimately it just saddens me, in general when it comes to when things happen with it from Black leaders and politicians. It's like that's the end of everything. Whereas I'm like, it should be an end of anything. It should be more so
Mm.
like, okay, we can hold you accountable, but we're not gonna allow that moment to like deter all that you did. Like we can't erase her. And I that's how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it from a perspective of they're trying to erase all that she did from things that just happened to happen to her during her
Yes.
time and her leniency. So
Thank you. I like those points. I really, really like those points. And so we'll see I, how much that now that Sheila is sharing her story, if that sways the voters either way. I've been hearing allegedly that Debbie is paying people in the community and pastors. We see she had that big endorsement of Alonzo. Luke made, so many points and connections to it. So I don't know. I'm not feeling too confident about that race. It's giving Debbie gonna win. It's really giving that just off of just how she moving and what I know she's raised and the the touch point she's making is giving she gonna win. But we don't.
yeah, the
It's not. It's
lobbyism.
not over to the votes are counted, but she's definitely giving. I'm ahead in the race.
Yeah, that's definitely what it's giving for sure.
hmm
Mm, mm, mm,
Oh
mm,
wow.
mm.
Can we switch gears to the Gen Z report?
I've been waiting for this moment my whole life.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, so like I have this hot take, Janae, right? So
Mhm.
just as much as I was mentioning how like there's a lot of excitement from young folk, right? But I do feel like Gen Z often sleeps on its power, like especially when it comes to voting. I think right now, like you know as a Gen Z, in this conversation, I think one thing we do not talk about enough is how much political power our generation already has. I think a lot of times, being a young individual, we get so caught up with like being youthful, and we're thinking about issues later versus like, no, we can enjoy our youth, but also we can enjoy how policies and legislation affects us now too, right? So for me, I'm a type of person like I like to come with the facts and I like to come with different information and just provide like extra information for y'all to understand like what I to support my whole take right now, right? So one fact I came across is that almost 50 million people, 50 million young people can vote in 2026, right?
Really?
So yeah, so back in like in nearly 49 million Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 will be eligible to vote in the 2026 midterm elections. And then
Wow.
approximately 8.5 million of them have aged into the electorate since the 2024 presidential election. So my point is that this is not a small demographic. Like this voting population is very large, enough to decide elections across the country. The question
Hell
is
yeah.
like whether young people have the political power. Whether the question is not whether young people have the power, it's about whether we consistently use it. Because I think we get into these uproars and don't really prioritize like actually being active and being leaders in our own communities, right? But I also do feel like the reason to support that stat, I realize that there's an access, like the access to information is a real barrier, right?
Mhm.
I do feel like when it comes to certain communities, specifically marginalized communities, specifically Black and Brown communities, there aren't enough resources, in our face to even realize it, right? Um, Circle found that 28% of surveyed young people face difficulty connecting their most important issues to specific candidates, right?
Mm.
So, and then 20% reported challenges understanding the choices appearing on like on their ballots. So we're seeing this chunk of number of these young people who trying to vote, right? But I think like even what can be harmful too, because like we just talked about the conversation of endorsements. Just because someone is endorsed doesn't always make them the right candidate. However, because we're in the age of digital advancement, right? So when certain things come up on certain algorithms, people are going to automatically associate that to being right. But we got to remember that when it comes to advertisement, endorsement, advertising specifically, people are paying us money for certain messages to be pushed. So, with the limited access of proper information and resources, with the individuals who have that financial backing when it comes to their campaigns, it can be very, very dangerous for Gen Zers. So I think ultimately, like, what I'm seeing here, that I do feel like the young Black voter turnout has room to grow, period. Like I said, like back to another point I have here. Circle estimated that 34% of eligible Black voters ages 8 to 29 voted in the 2024 election. So I'm thinking in the midterm election in 2022, about 15% of those people participated. When you think about that number, it's like it's really small to me, because there's so much power here within our community. We spend money. We're law-abiding citizens. We're doing all the right things, but people not even taking that initiative to even learn like how this is going to impact them in the long run. So I say those facts and I provide those statistics, Janae, because I think ultimately, like, there's a lot of room for excuses, but we have different platforms. We have supercomputers in our hands. We have iPhones. Generations before us didn't have that. People had to actually go out to the community and actually had to, go and search for it. Whereas like we have this at within arm's reach, So I think like, overall, individuals like myself and other young candidates out here who are being the barrier changers and being the representation that's needed, I think that would also contribute to more voter participation from young individuals. So I say that all to say, that's why I feel like, Gen Z is kind of sleep on their power, because they don't understand these things overall and understand how much, impact that we have now, not in the future.
Y'all better give. Just feel like a proud mama. Y'all better give Justin his thing. He came with his stats. He came with the facts and all the things. And I just appreciate your take. And I actually really, really agree with you on that, because sometimes and I could just remember when I was younger in my 20s, well, maybe not me, because I'm thinking about my peers. Like, it just wasn't a thing that was top of mind, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Come on, Justin. They give you some love in the chat. Yes. Oh, thank you.
Thank y'all.
I love it. Justin, and I want to bring it back to this comment from my mom, right? And she's like, being a Gen Z, you would think Kendrick, and she's talking about Kendrick Meek Jr. would tap into this group. And that's a point that I wanted to make just overall for candidates. And you could tell me too about like what you think about the engagement of your group, right? Because I feel like sometimes when it comes to Gen Z and even millennials, right, that the candidates aren't courting our vote. So to your point, if a group feels like they're not even paid attention to, and I'm not going, that's what some black men felt when it came to the presidential election with Kamala, right? So we'll go back to that. But when you don't even show a group that you even care, they're going to be less inclined to even F with you, right? And so, granted, it is a give and take. It is a symbiotic relationship. It's supposed to be, I do my research. You should also be making sure I know who you are. On the other side of it, as a candidate with limited resources, some of them, but if you have limited resources, you're going for the person who's most likely going to vote for you. So what you're going to do is go to the super voters versus you go to first time voters or somebody who doesn't vote frequently. And that's how they determine who they reach out to. And that's actually how a lot of our services and things are kind of like, when you see certain things, it's like, this don't feel like this for young people. This feel like it's for older people. And that's because older people vote. Now, here's the thing. They're older, they're wiser, they have a little bit more time, especially if they're retired. So it's definitely that. But that's, I think, too, we need some voter reform in the sense of like voting should be more accessible. It should be easier to do. We should have more early voting, more options, more ways to vote. Makes it should be easier to get a mail-in ballot. And I think because of those barriers to vote, coupled with the fact that you said like just apathy, especially among like younger demographics, and then also
Mhm.
too the candidates aren't seeking them out to speak to them. I think we create this gumbo, this soup of like just voter apathy because it's so many things working that's mixed into the fact that this group is not voting, but the fact that it's 50 million, that stat is crazy to me. That they have that the if you imagine just if a few percentage points more of that group starts to vote, we actually probably would see a lot more change, and it would be things that skew more to benefit younger people.
Yeah.
If that group just that woke up just a little bit more. What do
Mhm.
you say, especially too when it comes to candidates actually courting your vote, Justin?
Honestly, I do feel like, when it comes to the candidates, like, we're some, I'm gonna be real. Some of us are not out on the streets. Some of us are on our phones. We're on our platforms. We're listening to our podcast. We're watching the YouTube lives. I think being able to censor these campaigns more of an intentional digital lens, because right now we have like a lot of the younger Gen Z, they're on media all the time. And I think just like in order to get them to vote, what steps you have to take to make them, understand you, right? Being able to ultimately create strategies that will be effective, from a digital perspective, but allowing that digital strategy being able to mirror who you are in person. So now when these individuals come across a commercial, or they come across a person come across them in person, it resonates the same, because I seen like one of the viewers said something about like, Kendrick Jr. not really like, you know dedicating to the Gen Zers. Also look at it as a perspective of like, his, I believe his father was like, was, into like leadership in politics as
Yeah, his
well.
father was his former congressman,
Yeah,
and his
correct.
grandmother
So
was a congresswoman. So
so
he comes
literally
from a
like
political family.
yeah, he come from a political family, so he's already going that direction of it's like, okay, like I have like a stable group over here, but it's like, sir, like you saying a lot of great things, but not enough of us are hearing it. So, that's where the disconnect really happens.
Mm. Look what we have a question from Tammy. So y'all think people so y'all don't think it could be the people that just don't care and lazy? So y'all don't think it could be the people that just don't care and lazy, as in don't want to take the time to get educated on the issues?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of both, right? I definitely feel like, a lot of people, especially because like I said, I'm always gonna go back to intersectionality. When we think about socioeconomic class, when we think about,
Come on
gender, when
now.
we think about, sexual orientation, typically you're not going to prioritize these issues, right? You're not going to prioritize thinking like your voting matters when you got to worry about what you're going to eat tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
But so that's like the side where it's like lack of resources, lack of education. But then there are those people who utilize just excuses and laziness and not wanting to show up for themselves as a reason on not getting out to vote, because they feel like, and that goes back to like the privilege, and it goes back to the individualism that America's personality has been built off of. So when we think about individualism and privilege, a lot of people feel like, well, it's not directly affecting me, I don't have to vote. But what
Mhm.
we're seeing is, right, what we're seeing is this current administration, we've seen that like he started his plan after he lost the last election, and everything that he said that Kamala said was going to happen has been happening rapidly. His first 100 days, he was knocking down like 1,000 policies, 1,000 legislation, which is so
Like he
crazy
was
to me.
signing
He was
so
he's
much. I bet that hand was cramped.
his hand
And
was cramped, and that hairpiece is about to fall out. I'm sorry, y'all, but
you right.
but
You
I
think it's
say
a
that all the
hairpiece?
same.
You think it's a
Baby,
hairpiece?
like it gives like
I think he combs it over.
it want to be a 27 piece so bad. I think it's like a 21 piece at this point.
I don't want to be a 27 piece. You're hilarious. Look. And Dig, there was a point I wanted to make about this. Oh, I think also too, voter apathy, especially with younger people, I think it's because of like the culture and the habit of it all. If you didn't
Mhm.
see people voting, if that's not a part of your culture, we don't make it important. We don't teach it the importance of civic
Yes.
engagement enough. So it's like you just want me to automatically think if you're not teaching this in school, if you're not teaching me this as a
Yes.
kid, you think I'm gonna just
Mhm.
turn 18 and now I'm gonna do this? No, I'm not. And so I think too that's a part of the education that we need to improve in our country. Just probably got to take this on as a culture ourselves, where we
Mhm.
are teaching people the importance of voter education and participation and civic engagement. Like it is your right to do that, like your duty to do that. But they and that's another one too. I hear a lot of
Yeah.
people saying they don't vote because they feel like their vote don't count, which is very sad. And that's the thing, because certain things make them feel like that their vote doesn't
Mhm.
count. But we have to figure out, we have to start educating people and say, hey, your vote does count. And also too, I think because we don't, because like you said, in our country is very selfish, very, people don't think about them. And I think that's by design too, so that the powers that be can stay in power. If you are rooting for a candidate and they lose, it just makes somebody depleted. Or if you're voting for an issue, a bill, and it loses, it makes you feel like, I don't want to do this again. When in actuality, we should be teaching people that this is just a part of the process. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you may have to vote a couple of times. Yeah, your candidate may have to run a couple of times. Like it's a numbers thing. But I think
Mhm.
too, if more of us actually participated, a lot of the more, if you want to say liberal or things that lean more to like um social situations that like benefits the majority, those things
Mhm.
would probably be in place because they would have the numbers. They would be forced to do what the masses is saying. Right now they're forced to do what a few people are saying. And then we don't even want to get into campaign finances and who buys elections and who does XYZ and who they're beholden to, because then we'll be spinning and then I can't sleep because my brain will be like, well, how do I fix this problem that I can't fix? Right. So it's so
Mhm.
many things that are play, but I do think that's probably the one thing. And I love when Papa Keith always says it. He's like, that's the one thing I have in common with, like, he's like, with a billionaire or somebody, he's like, they may be able to pay all this money, but he's like, we all have one singular vote. And I think that once we collectively think about the power that we have together, and also too, like I said, just figuring out ways to educate people into the process of it and just getting them into that habit of doing it and educating them,
Mhm.
I think then we'll see a difference. And I think definitely starting younger helps. Like I think if we had like mock interviews in high school and middle school and elementary school, like you just get into the process of voting, the habit of it. When you're older, it won't seem so foreign until you like. And I
Right.
think a lot of times too, it's like until you like buying a house or you're like a super adult like me, and you see how like property taxes and your roads and your lights and all this stuff affect you, then you're like, I need to vote. Who ain't control over this tree that don't fail in my yard and ain't nobody come pick it up? Like you,
Mhm.
that's when you're like really in the process because it's like affecting you at that point. But until then,
Right.
you're like, I'm just chilling. Also, even if a candidate loses, most are still doing the work that allows us to show up in other ways. That's true. Hey, Kool-Aid.
Mhm.
You a new face in here. Hey, if Donna brought you over, hey girl, hey. But that's
That look
definitely a
like
good a good point
that.
Kool-Aid made.
That look like my bestie there.
Oh, shout out. Hey,
But
Kool-Aid.
yeah, you actually said a really great point, Janae. Like it was because I'm almost a super adult, right? But like when I was living in another state, when I was living in Maryland, I seen the differences of like having street lights and sidewalks, right? And it
Mhm.
seems so small where it's like, whereas I would come back home and visit like communities that I live in, like West Park.
Some of them don't
I'm
have
like,
sidewalks.
I'm over here like, this is the food desert. I'm over to my family. I'm like, this is the food desert. Y'all don't understand what's happening here, right? There's no lights. There are no proper sidewalks. So like literally, this is conditioning you not to be healthy. Your community isn't safe.
Mhm.
You have to lean on fast food places because it's cheap and you don't need to cook home cooked meals. These are all different things that are put in place because of certain policies and legislation towards certain
Mhm.
communities. So this all goes back to showing up and voting for individuals, or at least doing the work. Start just researching those who are advocates and leaders in your direct community and start from there. Because that's the small part. I think that's the small and the most vital part, because you live here your whole life. Your family, your grandparents lived in this neighborhood. And that right there should be a direct indicator on why you should even consider to like realize who's over here creating laws for my city. You know, who's showing up for me and my family, who's showing up for us in our community. So yeah, I think that's very important to know for sure.
I love that you brought up food deserts and just accessibility and things like that. Sometimes that we, you know, don't really realize how important and like who are the people that are in charge of those things, and these the people that we vote for. Like it's just when I tell people, I was like, these are things that affect your everyday life. That's why you should be voting. Like it does affect you. When you say you can't get a job or you can't, you keep rolling over potholes. It could be like from the most simple thing to the everyday thing, traffic, how many lanes a highway has, like all of those things are like they're all determined by like who we have the power, who we vote for. Any final thoughts before we switch over to the culture report?
No, actually, I guess like the only thing I would say is just like, if you're a young person and you're watching this, just know that there are resources out there for free. There are companies who want to educate you. This is a platform as is. There are so many different things that you can search on the internet to look for, but yeah, I don't want you to get out your own way and get out there and vote. That's my last message there.
I love it. Well, we gotta clip this up, Justin. I really like this message of like encouraging Gen Z voters. We got to do that. We got to do that.
We got to. We will.
So guys, another cool thing about the live show is we want to preview the culture report. The culture report is our feature that is a podcast within High-Low News, one of our brands, that our managing editor, Dericka Jaye. Dericka Jaye is our focus on lifestyle, culture, entertainment. She's been getting the celebrity interviews, and she had a really, really dope interview with the creator of Brown Sugar. Look at me about to say
Brown
Love
Sugar,
Jones.
Just
Brown
Right.
Sugar. Yes, Just Right, and all those things. So we're going to play a quick clip from that, and then we're going to get into, just thinking of, talking about our thoughts on that. Derek, if you're in the chat, tell the people, hey, girl, hey, if you're in the chat with us. Let's teeing it up and let's get into it.
Back with another episode of the Culture Report. Now, for today's episode, we're joined by one of Hollywood's most esteemed screenwriters, okay? This is the guy behind some of your favorites like Brown Sugar, Just Right, Light Mike, most recently Relationship Goals, and Ruth and Boaz. But today, he's joining us to talk about one of his latest business endeavors. So without further ado, please help us welcome Mr. Michael Elliott.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, thanks, Michael, for joining us. Now, let's just get right into it. I want to start from the beginning. So, When did you first fall in love with film?
When I first fell in love with film was probably when I saw the movie Wall Street. Charlie Sheen, Michael Douglas. That movie had an impact on me, right? I love the story. It inspired me. But that was the first movie that like I couldn't forget. And I think that's when it started. You know, and obviously there's been others, but that was the first movie that I was like, wow, this is something.
And Wall Street. Okay, I need to add that on my list to watch myself. And I know I was telling you a bit, off screen that for me, Brown Sugar was one of the films that was shown heavily in my household growing up. So for me, that's one of the films that made me fall in love with film. Made me think about things like a career in entertainment and journalism and music. So how did you go about choosing, the route to being a screenwriter, opposed to directing or even acting?
So, the short version is I was working in New York for the Source magazine. And I was the executive producer of some of the more notable Source hip hop music awards, including the ones that are the most controversial, right?
Yeah.
And so at a certain point, I decided I had enough, and I was going to move to LA. And I thought about, what else could I do? Because I've always been involved with hip hop in some way professionally, right? And so I was trying to think of like, what else could I do? And I always loved movies. So, despite the fact that I'm like 30 at this point, I'm thinking about a major career change. I'm going to move to LA. And of all things, I'm going to get into the movie business. Well, long story short, I ran into Diddy, who was like, "What are you up to?" And I was
You guys are gonna have to go over there and watch the rest of it. Dericka, you did an amazing job, doing that interview. Let me bring Justin back. I know here's the thing. The reason why I even know Justin is because of Dericka. Dericka has been, my sister went to school for mass communication and journalism as well. And so she, like me, a lot of her friends are in the business. And so when she became our managing editor, um, she was bringing in all her talented, amazing friends. And now Justin is somebody that I love so much and love working with him. He has the work ethic. And so definitely want to say thank you, Dericka, for connecting me and Justin. And I look at us, we're doing a whole podcast together.
Right.
Justin, what do you let me, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pull a Dericka. When did you fall in love with hip hop? Or are you in love with hip hop?
Oh my gosh, that's actually whew. I want to say, can I can I combine like R&B and hip hop, or specifically just hip hop?
Yes. When did
Okay,
you fall in
so
love with your favorite genre? How about that?
I fell in love with my favorite genre at the age of 7. Specifically, I remember when Sierra came out, and no one could not tell me that I was not Sierra. So with Sierra, I think that was the moment for me where I realized that like I actually love the art of dance and I love music specifically. So yeah, I was 7 years old, and it was Sierra for sure.
Oh my gosh, you gonna age me because I was definitely in ninth or 10th grade when Sierra came out. And I didn't think I was Sierra, but I would dance in the hallways. And if you know me, I can't dance, but I would definitely try to do the Sierra. Oh, I used to love to try to do Sierra dances. She came in like a force.
She did.
So definitely a great, I could see how that making you fall in love. Right. And so let me see. For me, because I do love hip hop, although I'm neo soul is my favorite, and R&B was right up under there, right? But but I do love hip hop, and I fell in love with hip hop. I remember like Tupac and Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm in elementary school, like videos are a thing. And I just remember like hearing that sound. Like to me, hip hop always existed, right? And I remember like hearing the sound of like even like a Heavy D and an LL Cool J, like whoever had like music coming out at that time, Biggie as well. Let's give it to uh what's the name? No Limit Soldier. I thought I told you. And of course, Miami Music, Don't Stop, Get It, Uncle Luke, Trick. Like those,
Hmm.
like I remember that sound of 90s hip hop and how much of a vibe it was, how distinct people were. When you heard a certain sound, you could tell what part of the country they were from. It was just so amazing. And also to the storytelling, the words, the poetry of it all, the raunchiness of it all, the wretchedness
Hmm.
of it all. Hip hop felt like blackness. Hip hop
Yeah.
felt like it was mine. Hip hop influenced everything from culture to TV. When you even look at the fonts of 90s shows, it's so hip hop. And for me,
Hmm.
like, I just feel like it just, like in the movie, it like shout out to Brown Sugar, which is one of my favorite movies. It was like a forced marriage. Like predetermined. One of the people said that in the intro. I think it was Black Thought. It was like, when did I fall in love with hip hop? Like I was already gonna be in love with hip hop because it was just always there. It was a forced marriage. That's how I feel about hip hop right now. Like, you know, um, look at JJ making fun of me. And so it's like for me, I fell in love with hip hop during that time. I would say I had to be in elementary school, probably like first or second grade when I started hearing all of these sounds, and I'm like, this don't sound like Michael Jackson and
Ooh.
Whitney Houston, even though, like I said, they always
Yes.
existed. But I was like, there's something about this just feels blackety black, authentically Black. And we'll get into Dericka's interview. But I also too want to know, when did you fall in love with journalism or media?
Wow. I think for me, I fell in love with journalism and media. I want to say from literally the early ages of like, I want to say elementary school, being able to, I guess the journalism side kind of stemmed from me reading like the journal magazines, like the Ebony, the Essence, and like my grandma used to have like the Jet magazine. So like I used to look forward to like reading certain articles on whether it was like on the latest fashions, popular hairstyles, basically small biographies about specific celebrities or
I
specific
love a profile
entrepreneurs.
because
I
yeah,
love a
because of
profile.
magazines. Yes, I love a profile.
So so for me, like, because honestly, I didn't know that was like a thing. I just knew that like I enjoy reading at an early age. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is so cool, right? And I've always been like an individual of like a speaker. So like even before I became a reporter, like I remember the first time I ever did a public speaking event, I was in third grade and I was Martin Luther King, right?
For
And
real, I
then
have a dream,
yeah,
Justin.
yeah. So I always been black. I always did my projects
Mhm.
on black inventors, black people. And then in fifth grade, I was like the host for like my fifth grade graduation. So for me, when it came to journalism and media, it kind of, I feel like it stemmed from, of course, those magazines at grandma house and at my mom house. Then it kind of centered to like me wanting to just educate people, whatever topic that was I had to speak about during those moments. So yeah, as I want to say, definitely elementary school for me.
Really? I did not think of this career at all. I didn't know people who were on in media and TV. Not personally. I didn't think that was a job I could have and or whatever. Although I was obsessed with Oprah and I wanted to have a talk show and do that
Hmm.
and but I just didn't even think journalism, right? I didn't even know how you even got to those type of jobs. But for real, I fell in love with journalism when I couldn't pass college algebra and I was a business finance major. And I was just like, yeah, girl, what can I take in here that I heard mass communication is something I don't have to take college algebra. Then ended up falling in love with journalism and definitely honed that love even more at my internships at the Miami Herald and CBS for Miami. And so it's, right now I'm going on probably 15, 16 years now in the business and working in South Florida. Like got my start in South Florida, mainly worked here in South Florida. I did a small little stint in the Tampa area that has a piece of my heart. I love Tampa Bay area from my time there. But yeah, that was for me college because I couldn't pass college algebra.
That's
What
that's
did you think of what did you think of Dericka's interview? Wasn't it so like
it
she's
was
so fucking good. Dericka's so good.
she's so freaking good. I think like one thing I do admire about Dericka is just like how like intentional she are when it comes to interviewing her
She's so
interviewees. Her
prepared.
questions
Yeah.
are so like detailed, but also like the questions don't feel forced, right? And I think
It's
oftentimes
very
too, like
conversational.
when you're constantly like trying to rehearse questions you're gonna ask, it can kind of come off as robotic. But one thing I do admire about all Dericka interviews, and she low key like helped me become a better interviewer as well. Is that way like just she does the research, she has the passion. So when you do the research, and you have the passion there. It only going to bring a great overview. So, but overall, my girl did a good job. She did a good job.
Yes. I love that interview, and I love one of my favorite interviews from her right now is her interview with Trick Daddy. Yeah, yeah, it's so good, right? Look, I'm here
Mhm.
talking Tamila in here, y'all. Y'all know we working. We at the headquarters. My house is the headquarters for Hilo News. Anybody who work for Hilo, y'all can come work over here. But but to say that I love her interview with Trick Daddy. So I would say, guys, go to the Hilo News YouTube page. You'll see the Culture Report. All Dericka's interviews are there. She's got interviews with Angela Yee, Da Vinci, like Trick Daddy, the creator of Love Jones and Just Right, and there's so many other interviews there. And she's gonna keep doing the Culture Report, so y'all keep an eye out for it. And we're just gonna be definitely talking about it here on Hilo News Live as we talk about all things that is Hilo News. I feel like this is like the video version, the activation Hilo News brought to life, like the physical
Mm-hmm.
embodiment of like if Hilo News was like a thing that you touch or whatever, like it comes off the screen, off of you reading it, and now you get to like see us talking about Hilo News. Man, as we bring the show to a close, Justin, I just want to give you, you know, before we say goodbye, I just want to give you some chance to say like your final thoughts about the first episode, any takeaways, what was a highlight for you, just any, final thoughts you have before we close out the show. But
well, honestly, I'm just like I said to you, like I was even when you even pitched the idea to me and thought about me, I was like, I'm doing this, right? But being able to see it come to life and actually being on here and being able to interact with the guests live was one of my favorite parts. But also too, I love the fact that you even gave me space to, bring in a topic, right? And for something I'm passionate about, and I love talking and I love community and I love being able to provide some type of value in everything that I do. And I think just even being on this podcast today, there was so much value shared, political value, educational value, Black value, media value, value, right, all the things. So I definitely say that like there was no like specific highlight. I feel like it was a highlight throughout. So just thank you for having me.
No, thank you, Justin. I want to give you your flowers just because you came in and the love you have for Hilo News, the way you treat us like we a Miami Herald or Channel 10 or CNN or Vibe, Ebony Essence, like you treat, and not anybody who works with my company that treats it with that respect has a special place in my heart. Because some people come in and they kind of like do treat it like, oh, that's just a little blog or that's not. And we are for real news company. Like we do
ain't
business,
nothing little
okay?
about Hilo. Nothing little about Hilo.
Come on now, Justin. That's why I love you. And it's not that anybody has to kiss my ass or just blow smoke, but it's like it's not about that. It's about the fact that you saw opportunities, you took advantage of them, your work ethic, you're just the respect and love that you have, the way you represent my brand. I sent Justin to a press conference for Orange Blossom Classic, was it 1 or 2 years ago? The people were singing his praises about how he, was professional, how he covered it. You represented us for FIFA, and it was a last minute thing. That was a huge, opportunity for us. And so I'm just so grateful, and I want to give you your flowers. And I love the energy, the conversation that you bring to what we're doing for Hilo News Live. I feel like it's a part of it allows it to be distinct from the Can We Talk podcast. And I think that you're that special sauce to it. So please don't ever leave me. I know we don't pay $1 gazillion dollars, but please stay with me for as long as you can. But I love the fact too that you use it as an opportunity, as a stepping stone to build, your resume and do those things. So if there's anything I could ever do for you, Justin, I'm always a phone call away. You can always hit me up. And I just want to say thank you so much for helping me launch this show, even through the kinks, the technical difficulties of starting 20 minutes late, all the things you helping me do to run the show, y'all. He helping me with the graphics. He stepped in, and I just really appreciate you, Justin, so much for being my ride or die on Hilo News Live. And we're going to be back, hopefully, because I'm going to have to travel. I'm going to figure out my travel plans, but the plan is to be back next Friday. And if not, we'll let y'all know ahead of time what time we're going to do the show. Like I told y'all with the Can We Talk podcast, I can't commit sometimes to a certain time, but I'm going to let y'all know in, a couple of hours in advance. And I'll text y'all to let y'all know that we on here. But I just want to say thank you, Justin, for allowing me to do this. And yeah, you're amazing and so talented. The sky's the limit.
I'm just doing I'm just looking in the mirror right now. So everything you said about me, I could tell you that times 10. You already know how amazing you are. You already know how much of you're a cultural curator, a connector of our community. So I think it's ultimately, Jaye, like this is you just getting started for real. You've been in this game for so long, but I feel like there's so much Hilo, even so much heights Hilo haven't even reached yet. But I see it all, and I'm just thankful that I get to contribute to a great platform, do work that matters, and just continue to show up. So, yeah, your flowers had to return the flowers right back to you.
Oh God!
Return to sender.
I know. I love you so much. First of all, y'all know I don't like compliments and stuff like that. It just makes me really uncomfortable because I just feel like I should just always give it and not receive it. But thank you for allowing me to receive that, and Yeah, thank you. I don't want to cry 2 days in a row on the internet. They had me crying down to the politics and chill. And I don't want to cry again, but thank you, sweetie. I love you. And we will be back with more from Hilo News Live. I'm gonna close out the show. Justin, thank you, thank you, thank you. Our Hilo News correspondent extraordinaire. Y'all give Justin some love in the chat. Yay!
This is great. This was
Yes,
amazing.
it was. Thank you, Justin. Man, y'all, this is the first episode of Hollow Lies. We're gonna get it, we're gonna tighten it up, we're gonna get our kinks out. But I was like, you just gotta push yourself, not like it set it off. But y'all remember on Set It Off when Frankie was like, I had to push y'all. I had to push y'all. If we ain't get it going, I had to push y'all, right? And so I had to push myself. I was like, if I'm ever gonna do this, do it while you got this momentum, while you got the people in the community looking. Even done is better than perfect. Shout out to Ernisha, right? And so there's a perfect segue for me to close out. We have the Hilo News Broward County edition. I'll keep putting the wrong flight. I need to just move this out of here. But Broward County is happening on August 4th at We Shuckin' Restaurant. Ernisha, who I just shouted out, she owns We Shuckin' Restaurants. It's going down August 4th through 7 to 10 p.m. Come on, we need to get those reservations, RSVPs up. We need a little bit more love over there. Broward girls, if anybody knows, and even too, if you're from Dayton, you want to come and Kiki, because we're going to be talking about District 24 just a little bit, but we're going to focus on Broward issues, the race for District 20, Congressional District 20, and all the issues that the residents there want to talk about. And I may have another special guest. Papa Keith said he may be joining me, so I'll keep you guys posted on that. And we may have another special guest. So giveaways, free food, drinks. It's a vibe. We have music. We are talking about social issues. We network and we loving on each other. We have a safe space for people to share what they're thinking about when it comes to this political climate. So guys, you don't want to miss this. We will be at We Shuckin' August 4th. RSVP on Eventbrite. Guys, you don't want to miss this. And I appreciate y'all for rocking with us today. Y'all see, I've been going so hard. I'm about to lose my goddamn voice. Messing with y'all. But I honestly, I've been enjoying myself, and it's been an amazing ride. And when I have this guest on, I'm not gonna give it away, but it's y'all saw I came back and I started doing this, and I wasn't doing this for like a while. I went through some stuff with mental health this earlier this year, and I just had to take a break. And something was a catalyst. And someone really was the catalyst for me to come back on here. And I have been enjoying my work again. I have been enjoying informing the community again. I've been enjoying running my company again. I've been enjoying me again. And so whether the number is 100 people in the chat or whether it's 2 people in the chat, I'm still going to give the same intensity and the same love to this because somebody watching it. And I be seeing my replays. So y'all get into it eventually when you can. But I just want to say thank you to the Hilo News family who allow me to extend our product offerings, expand the content that we're doing, expand my team. Y'all getting to meet them and seeing amazing people that help me out to build Hilo News. So I just want to say thank y'all, thank y'all, thank y'all so much. We will be back with Hilo News Live, and we'll be back on Tuesday and Thursday with the Can We Talk podcast, where we dip and do it and drink a little bit and act a little silly. And I also to be back with the That Part podcast. So y'all just be prepared to be sick of me for this election season, but it's so necessary because we want to get the information out. And another thank you to our guest, Dinah Escarment. If you're voting in a District 108, look up this interview and see if you help you decide your choice for your vote. So thank you again to our guest, Dinah. And again, huge thank you to Justin B. Smith. Oh my gosh, he's just so talented. That kid, you see somebody who's talented, you like, I'm just so happy I get to be a page in that book of their journey, right? Because this is at least he get to say I was at Hilo for a little bit because he's definitely a rock star, right? I feel that way too about my sister. I'm like, it's just a matter of time before they just go on and leave me and do all these amazing super duper things, whatever their destiny is, because that's where their trajectory is. And I'm just so grateful that they're taking their time to be here and help me mold Hilo News. Or maybe Hilo News hit it big and I could pay them the money that they deserve to get them here full time. Either way, the sky's the limit for them. And so thank you again to Justin. Shout out to Dericka with the Culture Report. Shout out to you, Hilo News family. Enjoy your weekend. We didn't say any events. Yeah, we've been on here for long enough. I know y'all ready to go. I hope y'all enjoyed us while y'all watching us on y'all lunch break. Also, too, we'll do some surveys. I want to see like what's a good time for Hilo Live, what's a Hilo News Live, what's a good date, what's some segments, how we can get the people to call in. Y'all be so scary. Please call in. I really want to do callers. So I'm gonna keep workshopping this. But yeah, this is my attempt to be, Don Lemon, Roland Martin. I love what they're doing on on YouTube. And so I wanted to be able to do that, but for South Florida, because we need our things. And also too, the mainstream media ain't telling our stories the way they should. So that's why Hello News exists. I want to thank y'all. We about to pay some bills. Please stay on. Let's just let it run. Let's support those who support us. And yeah, I love y'all for real. And I will see y'all next week. Bye.
Plastic bags don't go in the recycling. It's Recycle Right, the game where we find out what's recyclable and what's garbage. Ready to play? Go. So many items we toss daily, like cardboard, cans, cartons, glass, and plastic bottles, can actually be recycled in our curbside collection program for a cleaner community. The rest is garbage, like your uncle's aim. When you recycle right, we all win. Take your victory lap.
Hello, everybody. I'm endorsing Oliver Gilbert because he has always delivered for us, raising wages, delivering paid sick leave, and passing a law to lower water rates.
I'm Oliver Gilbert, and I approve this message because from supporting the 5,000 Role Models program to standing up to Trump, I'm ready to carry on the legacy of Congresswoman Wilson.
Trust me, we need Oliver Gilbert in Congress.
What does Miami Gardens mean to me? Home. Miami Gardens is home. I remember riding on the back of dirt bikes where Joe Robbie Stadium is and just watching the growth and the maturation and the glow up, if you will, of the city. It makes me proud to be a son of the city, and it makes me proud that I was able to raise my sons in the city, and then my sons can come back and raise their sons in the city. That's why I'm running. I'm not running for me right now. I'm running for the next generation and putting policies and institutional pieces within our city that will be there long after my term is over, long after my life is over, and I'll continue to serve the people of Miami Gardens and pour back into the same community that made me, that built me, that made me who I am. That's what Miami Gardens means to me. Home.
Hi, I'm Katrina Wilson, and I am running for school board member, District 1. I've been a lifelong educator for more than 30 years, and I have served in Miami-Dade County Public Schools for almost 40 years. I think that I have a depth of knowledge about education and an experience. Education is the gateway to the future. I think it allows you to dream.
Every drop has a purpose. It nurtures more than just our gardens. Protect what connects us. Conserve what sustains us, because water is life.